everyone. I'm thrilled to have been asked to speak on this topic today, particularly this topic to this audience. For me, it's a sign that things are truly changing and something extraordinary is happening out there. Because for many years, many of us who've worked in this field in the poorest countries of the world have been convinced that our greatest hope for eliminating global poverty was to unleash the economic power of girls. And I think, and I hope, we're reaching a tipping point in terms of that message being heard and in our ability to provide the factual basis to make sure that the investments we're calling for are the right investments in the right places and that will really work. And I think little by little we're building a critical mass of people that are committed to acting on our convictions that investing in girls is the way of the future. But before I share why I'm so personally hopeful and why I think we're poised for this breakthrough, I want to tell you a little story. And for me, this encapsulates so well the plight of the 500 million girls in the world who live in extreme poverty in Africa, Asia, South America, and Central America. Several years ago, I have this wonderful colleague, German colleague, Marion Raven, who runs the German office of Plan. And she was at a conference in Kathmandu, and she took a break from the conference and took a stroll. And as typical of Marianne, she came across a young girl, a little, very little girl, scavenging for food. So she struck up a conversation with this little girl, and in the end went home with her to meet her mother. And in this delicate way, she asked the mom, you know, why was this little girl out scavenging for food when her brothers were in school? And the mother's answer was very simple and very poignant. She said simply, because she's a girl. And that's all it was. That explained it all. And that phrase has haunted us at Plan. And it's haunted us in so many ways, not in the sense of sadness, but in the sense of we better roll up our sleeves here a little bit more than we've done. And how do we put a spotlight on the economic and social inequities to which girls are subject simply because they're girls? And I could tell you hundreds of heart-wrenching stories of girls deprived of their right to education and forced to marry at about the same age as we're just starting to trust our own children to stay alone at home without adult supervision. Around the age our girls are thinking about university, which university to attend, and I'm looking at table 5 and the students over there. The girls worrying about what courses to take next year. When opportunities are opening up for them an incredible future for 600 million girls, it's exactly that moment when all those opportunities are shutting down and options are shutting down. And so as opportunities open up for our own daughters and nieces and granddaughters and sisters, we need to make sure that those opportunities aren't shutting down for 600 million other little girls. And they're young and they're poor and they're malnutrition and they're suffering from weak health. And they're pregnant. They have little access to pre- or postnatal care, and as a result, far too many of them are going to die in childbirth this year. I was originally astounded, and somehow you stop being astounded. I don't think you ever stop being horrified. When I learned that medical complications from pregnancy and delivery are the #1 cause of death for girls 15 to 19 years of age in the world. The #1 cause of death. 1,500 young mothers are going to die today from preventable care during pregnancy or delivery. And we know that 90% of those deaths are absolutely preventable. And they're preventable for the proverbial pennies a day. It takes simple, low-cost interventions, and we know what they are, and the things we take absolutely for granted every day, thankfully in Canada, that will take care of this. And of the ones who survive, many are going to be so maimed and disfigured and dysfunctional from disabilities that they'll carry the rest of their lives as they care for very sick children. So with little education and fewer resources, they will need to go from caring from themselves to caring for these fragile children who didn't receive care after birth. And 38% of those babies will die in the first 30 days of life. So I've sat with far too many of these girls, far too many of these girls over the years to know that they're much too similar to my own daughters and to their friends. But I don't want to dwell on that. That's only one side of the story, and you all know these hard stories because they've been told too many times by people like me. But we know that this vicious circle that the girls are trapped in has all of the makings to become a virtuous circle. We know that within them there's a potential to transform this. And in this case, the virtuous circle is what we call the girl effect. And I want to show you how it works. I'm not a technology person. This is a 2-minute clip. By the very creative Nike Foundation with whom we work. And in about 2 minutes it captures both what it will take to unleash the economic power of girls and how the world will benefit from that as a result. It's a very simple message, but not too simple. We're one of several organizations that have joined the worldwide movement to promote the Girl Effect message. But I feel at plan that we live it every day. Last Tuesday, I was in eastern Rwanda, and I was visiting a girl-friendly school that was built by a Canadian donor and his neighborhood friends, his community. It was magic, let me say. 1,100 kids, about 500 girls, private latrines for the girls, energetic, passionate teachers, school lunch program for the 1,100 kids every single day, done by Plan Rwanda and the World Food Program. It was everything we need a school to be for girls and for kids in general. I also visited, and it's interesting, it's appropriate here, I also visited a Canadian cow. Sometime in the last year, a Canadian family purchased a cow through Plan for a Rwandan family, and I was told I had to go and see the Canadian cow. I do live a glamorous life, let me tell you. So I was taken to visit the Canadian cow in this village in eastern Rwanda and met the young mother, a young widow, who was selected by the community to receive one of the first cows because of her situation. And I had a chance to talk to her about what she's planning to do. And that cow is producing a certain number of liters of milk, which I didn't think were as good as the Canadian cows, because I know Canadian cows produce quite well. But I also met the calf, the first calf that's been welcomed into the family, and had my picture taken with the calf as well. And sat under a tree and listened to this mom talk about